Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to unpack the story of a true master builder. We're looking at the patient architect of wealth, how Warren Buffett built his fortune. If you've ever found yourself wondering how the absolute wealthiest people in the world actually get to where they are, well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to break down the blueprint of literally one of the most successful investors in history. And honestly, you might be completely surprised to learn that his biggest secret weapon is actually something you already have access to. So here's the central mystery we're going to solve today. How exactly did a regular kid from Omaha become one of the richest people on Earth? Now, right off the bat, I want you to just erase any ideas you might have about finding a magic genie or having incredible luck or, winning the lottery. Buffett's fortune absolutely wasn't built in a casino, and it for sure wasn't built overnight. It was built using a very specific set of tools that anyone, and I mean anyone, can understand. So let's open up his blueprint and see exactly how he did it. Section 1. The boy from Omaha. Every massive skyscraper has to start with just a hole in the ground, right? And every massive fortune starts with a single first step. From an incredibly young age, Buffett was totally fascinated by business. But he wasn't running some giant corporation. He was literally just a kid selling newspapers, magazines, and even going door to door selling packs of chewing gum and Coca-Cola. Just totally everyday jobs. But here is where he really separated himself from the pack. Instead of taking the money he earned and immediately spending it on candy or the latest toys, he focused intensely on saving his earnings. He was essentially gathering his building materials. And then, as he reached adulthood, he took those savings and invested them for decades. He didn't just save it, he actually put his money to work. Section 2. Building a strong foundation. I want you to think of investing kind of like building a giant fortress. You wouldn't build your walls out of wet cardboard or flimsy little twigs, right? No way. You'd pick the absolute strongest bricks you could possibly find. Well, Buffett has a really simple 3-step recipe for finding those bricks. First, find businesses with solid fundamentals and reliable management. Basically, he looks for companies that are sturdy, really well run, and have long-term growth potential. Second, buy the shares. And third, hold them for many years. Notice he doesn't buy a brick, place it in the wall, and then suddenly pull it back out the next day. He places it, and he just leaves it there to strengthen the whole structure over time. And this right here is the major difference between our master builder and the amateurs. On one side, we have the Buffett way, which focuses on holding strong companies for literally decades. It's patient, it's super methodical. But on the other side, we have the get-rich-quick mentality, which is all about chasing fast, risky profits. Honestly, trying to get rich quick is a lot like trying to build a house out of playing cards. It might go up incredibly fast and it might look super exciting for a minute or two, but the absolute slightest breeze is going to knock the whole thing down. Buffett, on the other hand, prefers that sturdy foundation that can weather absolutely any storm. Which brings us to Section 3, the compound growth snowball. Okay, if Warren Buffett has a literal superpower, it is this: compound growth. This simply means reinvesting your profits year after year so your wealth just continues to multiply over a long period. Imagine you're standing at the top of a giant snow-covered hill. You pack together a tiny little snowball. That's your initial savings. As you roll it down the hill, it picks up a little more snow. But here is the actual magic. As it gets bigger, its surface area grows, which means it picks up even more snow with every single rotation. Pretty soon, that tiny little snowball is the size of a giant boulder. And not because you pushed it any harder, but simply because you let it keep rolling and gathering. That is exactly what reinvesting profits does to your money. But here's the catch. To make a massive snowball, you absolutely need a massive hill. Now, yes, Buffett made very smart, calculated decisions. He picked really great companies. But the true, undeniable secret ingredient to his multiplying fortune was simply time. He stayed invested for an incredibly long time. We're talking decades and decades that he gave his investments to just compound and grow. He didn't interrupt the snowball while it was rolling. Section 4. The Berkshire Hathaway Fortress. Through his main company, Berkshire Hathaway, Buffett acquired businesses across a ton of different areas. He spread his investments super evenly across completely different industries. We're talking insurance, like Geico, railroads, consumer products, like Dairy Queen and Duracell, and technology. This strategy is called diversification. Think about it. If you're building a massive fortress, you don't just rely on one single giant tower, because if that tower falls, well, you're in big trouble. By spreading his investments out across everyday, really sturdy industries, he basically ensured that his wealth was fully protected. He absolutely wasn't betting all his money on one flashy, super risky idea. Instead, he just bought the things that keep the world running smoothly, day in and day out. Section 5. Slow and steady wins. So here is your ultimate master builder checklist, the blueprint for wealth. First off, it doesn't require huge risks. You absolutely don't have to bet it all on black. Second, it demands consistent investing. You just have to keep adding bricks to your wall day by day. Third, it requires extreme patience. You literally have to let that snowball roll without getting all anxious and trying to stop it. And finally, it completely relies on long-term thinking. This isn't about what kind of money you can make by tomorrow. It's entirely about what you can build over the next 10, 20, or even 50 years. Ultimately, the whole shebang just boils down to this. Consistent investing, patience, and thinking long-term can often be way more powerful than trying to get rich quickly. And that right there is exactly why Warren Buffett is widely regarded as one of the absolute greatest investors in human history. He basically proved that discipline beats impatience every single time. So as we wrap up, I really want to leave you with this one question to chew on. What seeds are you planting today for your future? You know, they say the best time to plant an oak tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is today. Building wealth is just a patient process. It's brick by brick, snowball by snowball. You've got the blueprint now. The rest is entirely up to you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I really hope this sparks your very own journey into patient wealth building. Catch you next time.